10 months ago, Jay Smith was at the height of his career as a CEO of a music technology company when he was diagnosed with ALS. It's a form of motor neuron disease like that suffered by British physicist Stephen Hawking. There's no cure, and Smith's disease is progressing.
In this year, we started with minor fatigue and some slurred words. A year later, we're in a wheelchair. The hands aren't working, the speech is going.
So the Smiths have joined dozens of other ALS patients to lobby the U.S. Food and Drug Administration. It's the body that regulates pharmaceuticals in the U.S. They want faster approval of a developmental drug called GM604 they hope could save Jay's life and others. They also want the FDA approval process reformed so patients with fatal illnesses can access developmental drugs before they're approved.
We are telling the FDA today that the status quo is not good enough. They need to do everything in their power to speed the search for a cure.
The FDA approval process can take more than a decade. The average ALS patient lives just 3 years from diagnosis. So a movement's been formed in the U.S. fighting government for the right to try experimental medications. The Right to Try movement is pushing for legislation that would dramatically alter the way medicines are regulated in the United States, allowing for potentially life-saving developmental drugs to be fast-tracked for the patients who need it. 10 states have already granted terminally ill patients access to developmental medicines without approval. 25 others are considering similar laws already in place in other countries.
In Europe, the drugs tend to get approved earlier. And in this country, they could be approved earlier for serious life-threatening illnesses because it would save so many lives. It's doable.
The U.S. government last year allowed U.S. Ebola patients to receive life-saving experimental medicines. The Smiths say they simply want the same opportunity.
That's really the frustrating part. If I have to wait, I won't be around.
They say they're already in the fight of their lives, and they don't want to fight their government, too. Kimberly, Halkett, Al Jazeera, Washington.